All right. Welcome to the morning routine. You guys can't see my face right now. You can just see that low pro spinning, wheels still spinning. I got a special guest today. We got Affinity Cycles, Jason Gallacher. He's can't quite see his face yet, but gotta do a little bit of house cleaning. We got him on the horn. He's ready to jump in. He's at an undisclosed location in upstate New York or Connecticut, somewhere up there. They're all the same. All the states are so small over here these days. I don't really know what I'm talking about. But anyways, what do we got to talk about today? Teespring. Again, discount code for Teespring is discount capital. What is it? Capital D-I D1. Let me type it in the chat for you guys. That's the code. Use that code if you're interested. All right, that's enough of housekeeping. Let's get Jason up in here real quick, and we can start this up. So let's do it. Oh, and it didn't work, did it? There it is. All right, we got Jason here. Jason is a
what's up?
Is the head of he is Affinity Cycles, and a little thing about Jason is I don't know. I guess we met through the cycling industry, and he's had a space here at the studio where I've had a studio, and when I moved out of my space, we made it work so I can move in here, and we've been sharing this space here for, has it been a year now, Jason?
Yeah, I think it has been. Yeah, I think it's been about a year. It has been a year. Yeah. Maybe a little longer.
Yeah. So, Jason, now that we have you here, Mr. Affinity, could you tell us a little bit about, just to get it right into it, tell us about how we got, how Affinity started, and where it started, and where you're at right now.
Sure. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. It's awesome to be here, and thanks, Terry, for having me on. It's funny seeing you at the shop. I'm sort of like, I feel like I'm there and here, so I'm also like super myopic of like what's going on in the background and the way everything looks. So it's funny. Does it
look
very
good?
Cool. Yeah, that looks great, man. I like the new setup too. It's funny. I saw one of the other streams and I was like, oh, it looks really good. He must have changed some stuff around, but yeah, no, looks really good.
Made some adjustments in here.
Looks great. It's slowly too. I've been changing some stuff in the background, so just kind of refining everything. But it'll be cool for us too to do the new stage of the plans we have for the shop.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so Affinity is. I started Affinity in 2007, and so we're 13 years now, and I've actually got some cool products dropping that'll be sort of our 13th year anniversary stuff. Some cool apparel and accessories that we are going to be launching that play kind of on Lucky 13 and whatnot. But 13 years, we started off as a brick and mortar bike shop with the bicycle company, and I just at the time had the idea to do the low pro and saw really an opportunity to create a brand. At that time, there was really like the Bianchi Pista and the Fuji track bike, and Iro was around, but there wasn't really any bespoke brand in a major city. There wasn't, the KHS was around, and I liked that low pro.
Yeah.
And I always loved the low pro.
That's a
but
classic.
That wasn't anything that was, comfortable or streetable. And, it was, so we saw the opportunity. I initially had a partner. I bought him out about a year in, which is a wild story, but took over and been running Affinity and just nailing it. I was a bike racer before, and just continued. I did photography and started it as a second business, really, but it became something where
he's got kids.
Sorry, I've got. Yeah, I was wondering how long this was gonna take. Yo,
5 minutes.
Yo, guys, I'm only gonna get to do this once. Hey, Jake. I can't believe this is happening. Like,
no, this is part of it. This is life. This is life right now.
You're gonna have to
It's all right.
Everyone, my kids beat each other up.
Everyone understands. Everyone's living a different lifestyle right now. That's why we're doing these morning routines and these streams, and that's why you're where you're at and I am where I'm at. If I had control, if I had this my way, you would be sitting right next to me, and we'd be doing this where I can have all the control. Yeah. But it's fine.
So
everyone understands.
So sorry, guys. I have 2 kids. Guys, come here. You want to just say hi because you're messing up my stream? You can just come say hi. Come say hi so everyone can see what's going on. You're going to have to stop that, big guy. Get over here. You guys can see my...
And welcome, Jake, to the stream. Look at that. He looks like a happy boy.
He got a haircut yesterday.
Wow.
We're going to do this once, dudes. Come in here. Come here. Jake, Mia.
Hi, Mia.
My daughter, Mia. Say hi. Okay. Look, Jake, Mia. You're gonna go watch. You're gonna go in the bedroom. You're gonna read a book, and you're gonna go up in your bed. Jake, you're gonna chill, and you're gonna watch, and you can sit and swing and chill. Okay. Whatever you guys got to do. Here, Jake. You want the phone? Which one gets the phone and which one gets TV?
Jake.
Dude, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. So while Jason's not around, let me just make a little switch. I can just switch on over to this button here. Oh, it's not really working right now. I don't know what's going on with my graphics. Who cares? You know what I mean? All right, so he's gonna handle the kids, and this is real life, and this is what happens. It's all good. Hopefully, we still have you here. Hopefully, you guys who have kids or younger brothers and sisters and other family members in the house with you, you understand how this goes. You got to share the space and the time with everybody. So, after we're done with the Affinity Cycle live stream, we're gonna do a masterclass on parenting with Jason Gallacher. He's gonna teach us how to keep those kids in check. I love it. So now it looks like we got Jason back, so I'm gonna bring him back in here real quick. Let's see if I can get this to work just properly. Oh my God, it kind of worked.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, what happened?
Hopefully I can get this to work properly.
It's all good. I'm working out the bugs on my end. I keep messing things up. That's okay. What's up? We got you back. This is good practice.
So Affinity, it was a thing, and it was never really. I never imagined it to be where it is today. No joke, no shit. Like it never was gonna be this. Like I never in my wildest dreams. I had no business plan for this where it is.
Yeah.
And it just evolved, and it became a thing. I always shout out Kyle at Golden Saddle, Traco Kyle, who at the time was at Orange 20.
Oh, yeah.
With those guys who became my first dealer. And that was like super grassroots. It was one of those things they called us. There was no internet. I mean, to say it like that long ago, but it was like 2008 or so. We had no e-commerce site. It was all grassroots.
Yeah.
And it became one thing became another and another and another. And then we got more involved in track racing. That's when the Cocina came along, and the whole John Prolly era, and that whole boom in New York, and it's just a big snowballing effect, and kind of rolled on to here, sort of, and retail was changing, and the scene was changing, and 7 years in or so, it took a couple of years, but I decided to pull the plug on the retail store just to grow the brand and kind of do that whole thing.
Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about that, because I don't think a lot of people know that Affinity. And sorry that I'm looking at the viewers. So I am looking at you, but I have to look at, I'm trying to engage them. Sorry, Jason is down here on a computer screen. All right. Anyways, I don't think a lot of people know that Affinity was a cycling, like it was a bike shop before, which was Affinity Cycles Bike Shop, and it was on Grand. Like people didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone knows that was the original thing before it turned into the company who makes bikes and manufactures and creates and it's a brand, So I don't know. Tell everybody with that little how that happened and refresh
cool.
my memory.
It's cool to hear that. Yeah, I mean it's cool to hear that in a way because I was nervous about that initially, and it was a pretty tough decision to make that transition.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, once things really started picking up and rolling, and when we began releasing more frames and really doing it, for me that transition was always going to happen or was sort of slowly happening.
Yeah.
And but to hear what you're saying now, is really wonderful to hear because at the same time inside, I'm always that brick and mortar that sort of started from that spot and really jumped in and evolved as the scene and as this whole culture was evolving. And so when I talk to shops or dealers or people or, employees at bike shops or anybody, I always try and translate that very message that I was a brick and mortar and I understand exactly what it's like to manage and run a bike shop or to be a part of that whole thread and that vibe and that culture and the customer interaction and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool to kind of have that root, the roots of the brand within that, and then also see it grow and change the company and change the structure and, all of that. So it's been super cool.
Yeah. So you pretty much learned along the way, like how to become a brand. It's like, I don't want to put you in a box, like more, I mean, you have distribution and stuff and you're sold at shops obviously, but like you're also handling business online. So that's gotta be very challenging, because you're shipping and receiving yourself and dealing with orders. And then also you have distributors doing it as well. Is that how it's working?
Yeah. And then also dealers at this point. So in the US, we're distributed now by J&B importers. So Affinity is a part of the J&B, lineup, which has 6,000 accounts nationwide. And that's another thing I try to, let people know. Some people are like, well, where can I buy Affinity? And I'm like, in the US, any bike shop, your LBS mom and pop shop on the corner can carry Affinity. The best part about that too is a J&B has no buy-ins. We're not like Trek or Specialized or Cannondale or even like a smaller brand, even like a Surly or an All City.
Like
you want to buy All City, you got to put
$40,000 order or whatever.
Yeah, like All City's better, but you've got to buy into it. With Affinity, you could buy one Low Pro or now the new Anthem or whatever. So there's that whole side of it, and then there's the day-to-days. Running the brand and the social. I do all the social. I don't do all of the PR, but I do the bulk of it, and then dealing with my international dealers and distributors and doing the best I can. And I'll admit I'm not perfect at it, and at the same time I'm like managing 2 kids and in the middle of this like pandemic and everything else and trying to train and race and all that. But I mean it's fun, and I have learned a lot, and that also is why, in part, closing the store was a great thing. It helped me focus and change my life and make more opportunities. And so it's ever evolving, and it'll continue to evolve. And that's kind of part of it.
Yeah, for sure. No, you got to go with the flow. That's what I say. And that's kind of what I've been doing, and what hopefully a lot of people have been doing with this crazy change that's going on and disrupting life as we knew it. It's probably not going to be exactly the same as it was, and I think it's important not to fight the changes, even though they're not changes we necessarily made ourselves, but to kind of go with the flow a little bit.
I noticed you
and
have
grow.
you have your bandana on.
Oh,
Like just before we went on.
Yeah, I always have it. Well, because I'm in the studio too, so if I need to use the
Right,
restroom
right.
or something, like I got to go out there, and I'm like, oh, I got to put this on.
Dude. Yeah.
Same
So
thing.
for everyone chiming in, I don't know if Terry's mentioned, but like where we are is I have to be careful about how I say this. So we're in a commercial building in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, that's in a neighborhood that's culturally diverse and like to the extremes, like with and it's a commercial building that's got a lot of people, a lot of studios, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
spaces, and there's, I would say COVID has hit that building, I would say pretty hard. That building probably should have been shut down. I
But it's
think things
not.
are getting a little better, but I had been, honestly, that's part of why I chose to go upstate. But
Yeah.
like, for those of you who don't know, like, yeah, in order for us to go into our space right now, we've got to like wear protective gear. And for a long while, I was going in there in the morning to ship, and once a week at like 5, 6 a.m., wearing my mask in the shop,
Yeah.
bringing multiple gloves, and it's like, it's pretty hardcore. So yeah, it's funny that you're wearing your
Yeah.
your get up, because that's like normal for us now. That's like a way of life.
That's part of it. Yeah. You want to why don't you brought it up slightly. You said you moved upstate for a while. Tell us a little bit about that, and where you're at, and maybe like the kinds of, I know this isn't totally about Affinity, but you are Affinity, so talk a little bit about being up there and like the riding and like what you've been doing, and we can get into the new
Yeah.
bike and all that.
So I'll be honest. This is actually Brooklyn. I'm back in
Oh.
Brooklyn. I wound up not going back up right now.
Oh,
But see, and
shit.
that's been part of it. Is I still come back. So we're at about 3 weeks now. After we were quarantined for 6 or 7 weeks, and I have a 5-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter, and they started bouncing off the wall. They're just kids, and
Yeah.
they've been doing great, and but at the same time, it got hectic, and we have a I would say, for New York City standards, a pretty big apartment,
Yeah.
but it's got no deck, it's got no backyard. We have no, we couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
and
there's no way to
eventually
get fresh
it
air.
wore off on us, and we decided, on the weekends we started going up to like Nyack, just to hang out and get out of the city.
Yeah.
I've been pretty strict about it, being quarantined with the kids and everything, and so one thing led to another, and we decided to just kind of start looking, and we Airbnb'd upstate. So it's actually in Sharon, Connecticut. It's in Connecticut, but
Yeah.
it's like right on the state border. It's on the border of New York and Connecticut. It's like 2 hours away, and it's been really good. The kids love it, and I'm able to ride, which is awesome, and ride on like country roads, and without a mask and without having to worry. I barely see cars, and that's been kind of a blessing to be able to get off the trainer, which has also been maddening. So
Yeah.
it's been
No, for
good.
sure.
And I've been coming back about once a week, just to continue shipping and, working a bit. So
Yeah, I remember coming into the studio the first couple times, like kind of late sometimes, and you'd be in here. I would hear it from out in the hallway. I just hear, bzzz. I'm like, what the hell is going on? and then I'd come in, and you'd be like sweating, like spinning so hard on the streamer here. So, I mean on the trainer here. So
Get
crazy.
yourself a coffee,
It was
bro.
crazy.
it's funny, those nights, those like that. It seems like ages ago, but yeah, there would be sometimes where I just come in and work late, and then get my workouts in late, and
Yeah.
I mean, the bulk of my training is on indoors. I don't get a ton of time to train, but my training is really focused and specific.
Yeah.
I'm either like on the track or on the trainer, or I sit in Prospect Park. You always bug me to like get out and like
I'm
ride
like,
other bikes.
yeah, I'm like, let's go ride on the dirt, or let's go up on an
It'd be
adventure. Or
awesome.
I was like, or leave your spandex at home for a little bit, and let's just go ride. And you're like, well, we'll work on it. One of these days we'll
working
get
on
on
it
it.
now.
One of these days we'll get on it.
And that's what's been so tough about the this quarantine, because like I would just be at a point, the 6 days of Cocina would just be wrapping up.
Yeah.
And this is the time of year where I finally, after like 4 months, get out of the house and I can start like racing and training in the park and whatnot. So, it's been like right at that moment where I'm like getting out of the house, I had to like, where I'm back in and I'm back on the trainer and whatnot. So that's been tough. And that's what going upstate has been like, a bit of freedom. And finally I can like get outdoors and ride a bicycle.
So for those of you who don't know, the 6 days of Cocina is an event that Affinity cycles at the Cocina velodrome. It's, what is it? The whole month of April? 3 days a week?
Yeah. So the 6 days of Cocina, the Lucarelli and Castaldi 6 days of Cocina is the opening event at the Cocina velodrome. It's the it kicks off the racing series, and we call it the 6 days of Cocina because it's it's not 6 consecutive days, but it's 6 days. It's a twist on a 6th day, and it's a fun racing series. It for New Yorkers and for tri-state, and it's a way for everyone to kick off racing, and in many ways I think people train to start to be ready for the 6 days, which has been fun, and it's actually been going on now I think 5 years. So it's a great little event. It's
a track race. Cocina is a velodrome in Queens, so it's like the only thing that we have over here that's close. Other than that, you got to go to T-Town, which is in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
Just catching people up. Jamie Bodman, thank you for the coffee.
Yeah, you hooked it up, man. Your computer is registering some ching-chings.
Dude, Jesse Shotland is up in here laughing at Jakey.
What up, Jesse? Yeah, oh my God. The kids are like beating the crap out of each other.
So I have the photos of the new bike. If you I was gonna see if I can share screens with you. So let's see if this can work. So just give me a second. I might have to do a little scene change, and then let's see. We're gonna have Jason. I'm going to show some stills of the new bike. Hopefully it works. If not, then I'll just share my screen, and Jason, you can just freestyle, and I'll go over the images. But I'm going to give a little. We'll have Jason talk, and I'll just shut my mouth. So we'll be with you in a sec. No, it's not working. That's okay. Let me see. Let me pull this up so they can still see my little photo here. I should be able to share screen. There we go. With the application. Okay, so I'm sharing my whole screen. Cool. You can see yourself a million times.
Yeah.
You?
Oh, my hair's all. Oh no, that's like the plant behind me. I think it's partly my crazy COVID hair in the plant.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see you.
Sweet.
I can see the pictures.
It's working.
Yep. I can't see you, but I can see the pictures.
Yeah, it's okay. Perfect. About me. You don't need to see my stupid face. And no one else can see my stupid face anymore either. Good. So this is, I'm not going to introduce this bike. I'm going to let you introduce it. But this is Affinity's new bike. And I just want, before you get into it, I just want to tell everybody, like, we did do a stream on this that went unlisted a while, like last week, where Jason talked about it, and basically we worked together and did like a virtual trade show and kind of gave it, it was the first time showing the bike to media, and Bike Rumor wrote a pretty good report on it. So I will drop that link in the chat.
Awesome.
But Jason, go ahead and go over it, and just tell me when to switch slides. So go ahead.
Yeah, cool. So this is the new Affinity Anthem stainless steel road bike. The particular model you're seeing here is we're calling the SL-AF, which is just came out of like nowhere. It's like super light, I guess, as fuck. But That's just the best way to describe it. It's funny because one person commented, they're like, "Does that mean super light as fuck?" And I was like, "Yeah, But you've heard about this story for a while, and the idea was to make an ultra lightweight. I hate saying weight weenie, but it's a featherweight bike out of a steel. I call it a battle axe. And it's a steel frame. It's under 2,000 grams for the medium. Actually, I've done research. It's lighter than Columbus XCR, which I was like really shocked about, which is a total bonus.
Tell us what Columbus XCR. Not everyone knows all the
so that's the I would say that's the like premier stainless steel tubing.
Got it.
I would say in the industry. Just because Columbus, is I guess super premium to people.
Definitely.
And then there's Reynolds makes a stainless steel set, stainless tube set, and then I think it's KVA makes the stainless tube set. The idea behind this bike was to make a modern. We kept it rim brake, which I'm sure there's going to be questions about, and then just tricked it out with like tons of features. So we can roll on to the next picture.
All right. Next photo.
And I'll talk about all these features. Yeah. The first and foremost, was when I had the idea of the bike. Although I love shiny stainless, it also sort of bothers me. Chrome is one of those things, or polish is one of those things. It is great, and then, in my opinion, the novelty or the thrill of it wears off pretty quick. So I wanted to try to highlight that, but in a more subtle way.
No,
so I sandblast.
You did it. I think you did it great, and it has. Now that I'm looking at it again, it has that classic like road and track bike feel from back when they would dip the bike in chrome and then paint over most of it and leave it like chrome on the chainstay and the dropouts.
It's kind of. I never thought about that.
Kind of got that like vibe slightly. It's not painted, but I love the way. I mean, what I've been whispering in Jason's ears about making a raw bike I'm like, yo, we gotta make a bike.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's funny. I never even really thought about that. Yeah, the idea was to just make it like subtle, and it's like you got like something beautiful, and and shiny's great, but the thrill is gone pretty quick. So
exactly.
the sandblast finish really works, and then we use they mask it. It's polished and then masked and then sandblasted, and then the results are sort of what you see.
And it's done beautifully. Look at that.
Thank you. Yeah. So from there we've got the bike has a tapered head tube. It's a 44 millimeter tapered head tube.
There we go. Switch
which takes press fit cups. So again, that bounces back to the whole modern and retro kind of thing. And then this bike is again tricked out with like some of the craziest components. At the same time, we did red E-tap, which isn't the lightest group set in the world, but we wanted it to be modern, with all the crazy features, and then also with ultralight parts. And it's funny because the lightweight wheels I almost look at as like retro, because that technology is like so old but also kind of like awesome and featherweight. So the wheels that are shown look perfect, and then the bike is also coming with a different set of wheels that unfortunately got a bit embargoed before I could launch the bike. So that'll be another launch coming soon.
The damn Rona.
Yeah, it happened. I was like rushing to get all these parts in, and for the most part we got everything, but the wheels will be coming very soon. And then a company called Darimo does featherweight seat posts and clamps and stems and bars, and so
should I switch frames? Here we go.
Sure.
There we go. There's a closer one, and there we go.
More ready tap. A company called Extra Light makes the hubs and the headset. The headset is like I think it comes in at like 70 grams or 68 grams, which is about half the weight of a Chris King headset, and ceramic bearings and super precision CNC. And then we also are using we're working with Cane Creek for the EE brakes, and then also you'll see in other frames the E-Wings cranks.
Those brakes are
more
so
pictures
sick.
of the totally. And then Jaguar ultra lightweight cabling, which is really nice to cable up. It takes a little while. It also shows the internal cable routing on the bike. And then the Darimo stem, this stuff is like meticulously handcrafted, and then that's where you can see all the imperfections in the stem and the post. This stuff is like sanded down to be ultra lightweight, but then also like insanely durable. So this company is making like featherweight parts that are like absolutely strong. So each little piece on this bike is kind of like a little piece of, like a work of art.
Yeah, it looks like it's cool. The Dorimo, like it looks like the screws that bind and hold it together. The way they make it work is the hardware is not actually part of the stem. It kind of rests on the outside. It's like
yeah, totally. And that's
cool.
where like with that stuff, it's like modern, but then it also comes back to these like real simple kind of classic features.
It still looks clean. I like the way it looks. I mean, I'm a big guy. I'd be a little terrified to ride this myself.
We were talking about whether you. Yeah, it might be.
I think I'm over the weight limit.
No offense.
But also the headset with the zero stack, like people love slamming that stem. That's like as slammed as you can get, pretty much, right?
It is, and it's almost like that's the stack, and then also the dust cap, which you can barely see in the picture. It's basically like the thickness of what like a thin washer, not even a spacer, like a washer, and then also the cup itself fits into the frame like a centimeter, or not even it's like almost like maybe 2 or 3 millimeters. It's just enough to be safe, but it's insanely machined out. So again, all this stuff is like, all these little pieces on this particular build are like just ridiculous and little pieces of art, like all on their own.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next. Here's another
shot. So yeah, that's the front of the bar stem, and that's like one, like the stem's like 60 grams and the bar is like 70 grams. So it's like half the weight. I know, it's like half the weight of an Envy or more. It's like a third of the weight of like an Envy setup. Not to compare but even the bar tape is Detta makes this ultralight bar tape that I want to look into it to make it. It's super comfortable too. It's like super lightweight, but a really nice little product.
Yeah. Oh, there's those beautiful brakes again.
The brakes, it's funny. Someone was also commenting on the brake pads, and those are Swiss stop, and they work really, really well. And I can't say enough about the King Creek brakes. They're just, the technology behind them is incredible, and I will shout those out and just praise those brakes all day long. I mean, disc brake is like the new thing, but it's tremendous to have like beautiful functioning like little works of art like those things. And
I'd love to get these on my low pro. I'm gonna talk to King
that would be sick. Yeah, I mean, it's in it, all these parts are like investments, but like when you have like when you do some, it's funny because some people like, they're like, oh my god, $10,000 for a bike, but I would so rather, and it's not just because it's my company or whatever, or the concept of this bike, like I would rather show up on this thing than like some generic like Trek or Specialized, or there's a million other bikes I totally admire, like BMCs, or even like the new Bassos are sweet, but like I like, this is so much, it's like bespoke, and it really says so much more about a person to show up on a bike that every single little component is hand selected, and these brakes like totally define that, and it's worth it, to sort of to go the extra mile with like all these parts.
So you just brought up disc brake. Is there a disc brake road option going to be available? Is that in the pipeline or what?
It is, and it'll be, I sort of, we'll see what the final iteration's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say it. I've said it around a little bit. There'll definitely be a through-axle disc Cocina. That's
sweet.
And it's not next, but that's the next one we're working on. I'll also say too, in addition to the hotline, Terry and I are gonna. Well, we haven't said it much, but we're, for all those listening, we're gonna. Terry and I have been dreaming up like a very cool single-speed, track bike. Urban.
We're working on a
machine.
Yeah, so we're working on a bike that's single speed and/or can be ridden fixed, but there's some technical things that I want to make sure are perfect before we do.
And these things, they take a while. All that stuff takes a while, but I would love to see this as a disc. disc ready. It may be the same, but in Thai.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. So the bike has internal cable routing. It's Di2 and mechanical ready also. So you just swap out the plates and then everything runs internally. It's super tidy and, ultra clean. Wow. And then from there, we've got like 10-gram skewers, or it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, ride that off the curb.
It's funny because I took, it's like, yeah. Well, but they're titanium, so it should be like, I'm really hard on my bikes too, and so I've been like riding the crap out of it, and it's for me, it's fit the bill, and it's super nice. Yeah. We have our own fork. This is the new tapered fork, which is also super nice, and that'll be just to hint it out a little. That's like the craziest teaser. Yeah. That's the new fork for the Cocina, same but different. So we're overbuilding it for the Cocina.
But the Cocina is going to be through axle, so it's going to be slightly different, right? Same shape.
Because the road bike Cocina. Yeah, so the Cocina track bike, it's the same similar fork as well. So it's a new shape and a new design that we're coming out with. So the next frame is the EE Wings cranks.
Yeah, someone was asking about these cranks earlier. These are beautiful cranks, and I always shout them out because they're dream cranks for me to throw on a mountain bike, and I had no idea they started making a road version, which this is, the road version.
Totally, and it's when I started researching the bike, as soon as I realized they made the road version, with the finish and them being Thai and looking similar to the brushed finish on this frame, I knew that's where we had to go. And I wanted to do a 1x, and that worked perfectly as well. So
why did you choose the Thai EE cranks over the carbon cranks?
I don't know. I think just because
you think carbon would have been lighter.
I don't think so. I don't think they are actually. They could be. It could be. It's in the ballpark, but. For me, I think it's bespoke, and it's funny. I'm working with Cane Creek now to do direct OEM, and they're stoked. We're stoked to work together, and I joked with them that beside the frame, the cranks and the brakes are the only other like non-carbon fiber part on the bike.
Yeah, and I think I think you made the right choice. I love the cranks on this bike.
Me too. They're so damn stiff too, and it's a T47 bottom bracket. And I'm using a Chris King ceramic T47 bottom bracket. And then the chainring is a company called Garbaruk. And they're stoked. And, the chainring just came out perfect. So,
I think they make mountain bike chainrings too.
They do. They're sort of, they're like, they make really sick looking 1x stuff. And they've been super cool to work with. I will say that there might be some AARN stuff coming in the future. Yeah.
Aaron?
That just didn't. It did. Aaron? That's another thing that kind of didn't make it. Aaron's a great buddy of mine, and we do a ton of stuff together, and so that'll be on the horizon, I think, as well.
There is a question in here. We should hit it before we switch slides. And I know that you got questioned on this during the media stream as well. Why 1x, and why that big of gearing?
1x because for me, I'm a crit racer and a circuit racer. I'm a track racer, and it makes a lot of sense for me. And I think for many, especially those who are club racers or park racers or crit racers, I got to a point where I had realized that I hadn't been in my small chain ring in like arguably like years. I don't, we were talking about before, like I circuit race and I crit race, and I just don't use a small chainring. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. The bike comes 2x. You can see under the crank. I'm like pointing to the screen.
Oh no, I can see, right under on the chainstay.
Yeah, so you can see. So the bike has removable cable guides, and so behind the chainring, you can't really see it, but there's the cable guide there for the front derailleur, and then you just use a braze-on clamp, or and then and then you can run it 2x and run a front derailleur. So you can run 2x. I decided to do the 1x, and then it's funny, and they're like the big chain ring. For me, that's small. I'd go up to a 52 or a 54, and just kind of like smash it. So
yeah, I was joking with you. I was like, yeah, you're gonna smash it. You're gonna smash it around Brooklyn maybe, but You ain't
Right,
riding
right.
you ain't riding where I'm from, buddy.
And it's true. Like,
You can ride like that.
That's
You're
why
just it's not enjoyable.
yeah, no, and I get that, and that's what that's why this can be whatever. You
Exactly.
can, even with the EE cranks, you can put the spider on, or the and then run a 2x, and run it a dual setup. So it's versatile, and in a way, this perfectly shows that you can run the bike any kind of setup, and then also super clean. If you're going to run a 1x, because of all the bolt-on cable guides, you can just take them off, and the bike looks super clean.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And
Oh,
there's your
yeah.
answer. So why one
There's the
by?
answer.
You can also have 2x or 3x. Do they still have
Because yeah,
that?
okay, I think so. I don't know. So yeah, so red ETAP axis, and then it also shows the removable cable guides, and I guess it's got a rear derailleur hanger that's replaceable.
Yeah, that's important.
Clean dropouts too.
Yeah, that looks good. Let's see. Oh, there they are.
There they are. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that was just a cool little detail. I think these days most bikes don't have, and it also makes the bike a bit more bespoke and original. I think these days people want options.
Yeah.
And then if you're running ETAP, you're not stuck with little cable guides, or if you're running Di2, it goes through the chainstay, in which case you wouldn't need the cable guides also. So it gives you options, and then for me, it also feels like the bike will be a bit of a legacy bike. I was chatting with this rad guy on Instagram, and he was talking about his Mercs, and I was like stoked to think that this could be potentially like a stable bike, like a bike you build and love and keep, because it just like won't die, and it's not like a carbon bike where, I'm not knocking carbon, but
I know
this will be
exactly
around
where
forever.
you're going with that. I talk
Yeah,
about carbon
no.
in that way too, and I'm definitely not knocking carbon. It's just like, well, is that carbon
Right.
frame going to be just enjoyable to ride in 15 years? Probably not.
And yeah, no, I mean, it won't be around,
Yeah.
short of like carbon track bikes, because a quality carbon track bike is basically solid, and those things can take the abuse, but so yeah, the brakes, and the other nice detail, which the picture doesn't, it shows a bit, is that the seat stays are ovalized, and not flat, but sort of ovalized, which is
Yeah.
a nice little feature, and then it adds structural stiffness and rigidity.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Let's see.
Did it nice? Okay.
This seat,
Um,
the collar, this is crazy. You can see the fibers in the carbon, how thin it is. How much does that thing weigh?
It's cool. It's fun. It's 4 grams. It's like ridiculous. I know. You can't like. It's like the weight of like a quarter or something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't even. It doesn't. It like barely picks up on the scale I had to like. And they hand make these. They actually just take the weave and they make it.
I grind 5 times as much coffee beans in the morning for my coffee than the weight of this
totally.
seat clamp.
And
It's
also
crazy.
you can see like the fibers in the seat post as well, which is like
Yeah.
super cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And there's
So,
the
yeah,
crazy ass seat and seat post.
It's mental. Yeah, I mean, like, one is like crazier than the next. They're both companies have been so awesome to work with too, and these are people that are just love like what they do just as much as I love what I do, and Darimo makes this ridiculous post that so that the cable if I could thread it, I mean, so you mount the seat to the post by way of like these carbon fiber like strands, and then torque it up, and it's ridiculously beautiful and super strong. And then they're a Spanish company called Darimo, and then the saddle is made by a company called Jalou, which is Portuguese. Ironically, my wife's Portuguese, so they're rad guys who's just some like mad scientists making these ridiculous saddles and these things are remarkably comfortable. I mean, I like want to go as far to say that this is like honestly the most comfortable saddle I've ever ridden, and that it's hard for me to say that, but I could ride hours and hours and hours. I ride on the rollers on these things. Like, it's beyond comfortable, and I can't wait to put it on my track bike and pursuit on it, because it's got super comfortable positions, and then it's like it's the most ridiculously beautiful in my opinion saddle that's like I've like ever seen.
I have one problem with the seat post though. Do they have a setback version? I'm just fucking around.
I don't know. You know what?
Just fucking around.
They might actually. They do with a setback. I don't know if it like. I don't know if it's like with the braids, but like, you know, it's funny too. This picture shows like where the braids meet, and I was like, I'm looking at the picture, and I was like, do I like clean that up or like retouch it or whatever? And I was like, no, you've got to like leave how like beautiful and like real that is. Like that's where the, you know, right under where it like loops through, you can see where that like imperfection, and it's not an imperfection. That's where they bond it together. Yeah. And it just shows like how handcrafted it is and just sort of, you know, beautiful. I
was reading some of the comments on the Bike Rumor post about this, and so they were talking about the woven structure of the seat, like clamp working with the seat, and someone was saying they have a similar thing on their boat, and they replaced the steel cables from their boat with these carbon fiber ones, and they have less stretch than the steel ones, and they're just as durable. And I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. So if the guy uses it if they use it on boats and sailing boats, then they're probably fine on a saddle, I'd imagine.
Totally. And probably more durable. You know, alloy and metal can oxidize or age, and alloy gets soft over time, and this stuff just like does not. It's funny, someone made a comment like, that doesn't seem that, long term, or they didn't believe in the product. And before I could even comment, someone came in and totally defended it. And I love it when you don't have to like chime in when other people are like, no way, I've got it, it works, it's great. So I mean, that's
that's a good look when there's people talking crap about it, and then also people defending it. It's just, it's good to be in the middle. Like, that's right. This is causing some controversy. Must have been a good choice in saddle and seat post. So here's the slight bird's eye, so you can see. Whoa, Affinity mark on that bad boy. How'd you get that on there?
They're rad to work with, and they do custom stuff. So we decided to throw our logo, not too much, but just a little bit, just to make it custom and match the theme of the bike and whatnot. And they're all the parts we had matte finish or satin finished. And then they put a little bit of gloss on the logo. So, and then, it shows the construction and the sort of ergonomics of the saddle, and, the way all of it works. And it's just, again, like just super pretty to look at.
That is a crazy looking saddle, man. Yeah. People in the chat are, let me see. Holy fuck. The seat is nuts. It's whack. My jaw dropped. Let's see a bird's eye shot of the saddle. Yo, what's up? Literally stopped sipping my coffee and just said, whoa. The raw beauty is the whole point of the bike. The saddle rails looks like they give mere flex and suspension. Is it fixed with wires? Looks like a ball crusher. Holy crap. Don't ride that naked. I don't understand. It completely seen something like that in my life. It's just attached by cables to the seat post, and then someone said, sorry balls. Ha ha ha.
As long as you got your shorts on, you're fine. And
so
it's super comfortable.
Super chat raffle for one of these? Definitely.
We should do that.
The super chat raffle starts now, and to get in the raffle, you have to do a super chat for $100, and you get one ticket.
It'd be rad though, is like we could do something like that where people chip in like $1 or something, and then we like give away the saddle and like give the money to the person or something.
That's what I kind of been doing. I've been like
let's do that.
raffling off like older like cameras and stuff, because a lot of the people who watch this stuff also make films and ride. They obviously ride bikes, but a lot of them are into filmmaking and stuff. So we'll get you in here.
Done. Yeah, that's all
right, we got some Affinity raffles lined up.
Yeah, I love that. So one thing that, and someone made a comment, and that like it brought me to want to mention this. So I'll be launching all of these parts individually on the site. So if anyone wants like the saddle or some of the Dorimo parts or just the clamp or whatever, all of this stuff will be available on the site for sale individually. And fortunately, I was able to hit up these companies and work with them. And import the stuff, so we've got a bit of an exclusive to sell the stuff in the U.S. So all of these individual parts will be for sale on site.
Cool. And then one before you stop here, I know this is the end of the slideshow here, but people know that this bike here, as it stands, is 10K. But you have different build options. So, because people, there's a few comments in here saying like, 10K, like beautiful bike, 10K, way out of my price range. Like, sorry,
right,
blah blah blah. Obviously, 10K for me personally, buying a road bike, I'd be like, nope, I don't ride road that much. I don't need that. But there's other options where it might actually be there's some affordable ones and like a mid-range one, right?
Yeah, so we've got 3 price points for the bike, and it starts at $3,500, and then we also do the wheel
and that's a complete
upgrade. That's a complete.
3,500
it's SRAM Force
with Force.
SRAM Force 1x or 2x. We're doing OEM Thompson components.
What? Thompson and Force?
OEM Thompson and Force and DT Swiss wheels.
Holy
so that's
shit.
That's a sick, with the Cellitalia SLR saddle. So it's like, really nicely equipped. And then we do a wheel upgrade for the featherweight wheels for $1,500. So you could sort of come in at $3,500 and then get the race wheels for a total of $5,000.
Yeah.
And then the midweight version, or the mid-level version, is sort of same but different. It's all of that stuff with the race wheels and then with all of the featherweight components. So essentially it's the premium version, but Force 1x instead of the E-Tap. And so that's kind of a rundown a bit of the levels. And if Jesse's still on and chatting, he hit me up and was like $3,500 for the entry level. And so we've been considering, and I'll put it out on social, and we'll but what we're going to also do is if someone wants a more affordable option like a Rival or even an Apex, or if someone's a campy guy or whatever, if you've got a budget, we could probably do a build, I would say somewhere for about $2,750, maybe. I don't think
with
quite
campy?
$2,500, but no. Well, they do.
I'm just kidding.
Is it Centaur? What's their entry level? Or Athena? I don't know what they do. An entry level that's kind of like it's kind of close to Rival. And so there are. If you want, the other thing too is we just sell the frame set. The frame set's $1,750 retail. So you could just get the frame set and swap over your parts, or you can do builds. Starting at $3,500, if you can hit me up and we can work out, doing a Rival build or an Apex build. I'm like happy to work out, anything with a customer who's got a budget.
Yeah, but someone makes a good comment here, or a good point in the chat here. They're saying if you spend more, it makes your wallet lighter. So then there you go, and then you're lightweight all around. No, that's great. Sign me up. I need the $3,500 level, because I'm just like a weekend cafe racer. I want the 2x though, because I like to spin up those hills. Let me see. I guess that's all we got on the photo of the bike here. I can bring you back, so I'm gonna show everyone your face here in a sec. Let's see. What do? I push this button. Oh yeah, get out of here. There he is.
All right.
Let's bring this guy back on screen. I'm gonna do a quick little switcheroo here. So I don't know why it's not working right now. There's supposed to be a graphic in between.
It looks good too. I like that. I like the transition graphic.
All right. So now that we got you back, what's that bike up there, above you on your left side?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I know. I'll bring up Jesse again. I know Jesse's like shitting himself.
Oh yeah, Jesse's in the chat. He's saying he said wee.
Wee. So
Jesse,
I'll
eat a mango. Jesse, go eat yourself a mango.
I'll get it. This is the new Cocina, and I'll get right to it.
Yeah. Wait, that's the new one. Brand new.
This is the brand new, going to be released in
look at
a month or so. Tapered head tube.
Ooh, it's short. It looks
crazy.
The head tube looks like a short stack
It
too.
is. It's shorter. So this is the medium. It's also, I'll like try to get real close up to the.
Yo, your
It's like
webcam needs to focus, man.
Man, I need a new
Just
computer.
kidding.
So it's but it's tapered head tube, and it's the same. The film grain finish. This is like a hunter green version of the film grain finish. I'll try to hold it in a way that like I can chat and whatever. But yeah, tapered, shorter head tube, same Cocina. It's got better standover, and so it'll have like more mast. So it doesn't have more mast, but since there's more standover.
So does that mean the top tube is slightly sloped?
No,
Sloping?
I kept it level for the medium.
So you just squished
the small, the medium, and large.
You pulled the whole top tube down, like at the same.
Yeah.
Got it. Same angles. You just pulled it down from both ends.
Yeah, and I actually have. Hold on a sec. I have. So this is the new small.
Oh shit! You can tell that's small. Damn.
Small. And it's like meaty. It's like it's mean looking. It's like totally mean looking. I'm gonna switch it around. I will.
Wait, is that Jesse's small?
This is Jesse's small. Jesse's like, yeah, that's mine. So yeah, and it's like, so it'll be like more mast and more goodness. And then the I don't know where I have it. It's in the other room. I have the fork. The fork is like real nice and kind of badass, and no brake hole with a brake hole option also. And so yeah, I mean that's the bike, dude. I'll put it back so everybody can kind of geek out to it. But so it'll be so we're calling it. It's like a hunter green with like a camo sort of decal, and satin finish, and then the other colorway is like one that's super popular, which is the same film grain, also with a satin finish, both with black forks.
Is there one of those? Someone in the chat's reminding me. Is there one of those for Anna Puga? So someone's reminding me that I told Anna that I was going to connect the dots between you and her. We'll talk about that off stream.
I heard that. Yeah,
we'll talk about that off stream. Someone's calling me out on it. That's right.
Yeah.
And then William.
Those will be dropping. There'll be shipping. Just to let you know, they'll be shipping in the next like month, I would say. I'm like looking at a calendar now. So yeah, June. So like July, they'll be in stock, ready to go. I might do a bit of a pre-order, which I don't like doing. Yeah. I'm doing it for the Anthem now, just because of the embargo issues. But they'll be. It's a good idea right now
with everything going on.
People dig it, and I know people want it, so it's good to geek out. And I'll try to launch it as soon as I can. I won't launch pre-order until my product is like on a ship with a confirmed ETA. So until I have an exact ship date, we won't launch it. It's going to be about a month until we open pre-order.
Got it. And then maybe I lost it. What are all the colors? Is that it's launching in that color, or is there any other colors available?
Yeah, so it's this color, the hunter green with the camo decals, or the drab green kind of decals, and then the other colorway is film grain, which is like yours, but instead of the gloss finish, it's the same kind of satin finish.
Got it.
The same, basically the same colorway as the last batch.
Cool. Danny has a question for you. Jason, are you going to sponsor? I guess we'll call them lifestyle riders.
I guess so. Yeah. Oh, sorry, bud. My son just he's like,
are you going to sponsor riders? Are you going to sponsor riders like Terry, Anna, and Safa? Anna. Okay, so I'm not in that same group with those two. Anna is a professional racer, and on a team, and Safa should be, but I guess I'm closer to Safa, but he's crazier. He rides way more than me. Are you gonna sponsor people like that in the future?
I would say sure, and I think we do, sort of. Do we? I don't know. I mean, I would say anyone who's like kind of rad and For me, it's more, it's interesting. The race team has become something that's gotten super specialty, and now
Yeah.
we're trying to work with riders who have a potential to get into the Olympics, or did. Felix English,
Yeah.
got the ticket, and then Corona happened, so he was on his way to Tokyo. Amber Joseph is on her way to amazing things, and it's been awesome working with her. Then other riders who are doing awesome things, Colleen Gulick, who's winning crits, and, then other riders, Jesse and I are, throwing around in T-Town. And then there's sort of like the fun, lifestyle aspect to it where, I'm happy to like just be rad with people who, Cooper's like one of those guys, and you're one of those guys, or even Matt Reyes, who I don't sponsor, but I'd be happy to like throw him whatever just because he's like rad.
Yeah,
so
he was riding the low pro. He still has the low pro. He was riding it with the basket and all that for a while. So yeah.
Totally, and that's one of those more like casual things where like you're just kind of rad. And for me, it's I honestly, I guess maybe to answer that question better is that I have a hard time sponsoring people in a way that I don't really know, because I don't know who they really are, like as a real actual person. And, sometimes those connections are made. And then if I can chat with someone and, get to know them, like I'll take a bit of a risk, or, but I guess for me also, they need to be and feel Affinity. They need to feel, they need to like fit the mold of who we are as a company. And, like I would say we're all kind of like a big family,
yeah.
You came to T-Town and like hung out with the track racers, but we could have all gone off and like had a rad time.
Yeah.
And, everyone kind of just feels like one. So I'm into it, and hopefully you and I can do some traveling when all this is over, and
I kind of told everyone like a couple weeks ago maybe about a little bit of our plans for the gravel stuff, the gravel happenings, just on my side of things, of me and Cooper, and what we had a loose plan of doing things, and had some things lined up, and they just unfortunately didn't work. So maybe maybe we can pick that back up when it's all kind of normal, or back to whatever normal is.
That sounds like a dream right now, man. Yeah. I look forward to that for sure.
Let me see. I'm taking some questions from the chat. Is there an extra large Cocina, or is it just small, medium, large?
Good question. Yeah, so there isn't. It's a large, and I get that comment here and there. The plan is to do extra larges. I'd love to do extra smalls of some stuff too.
Yeah. Soon,
not right now, but into the future for sure. The way that the Cocina is set up, even the large low pro, you're how tall are you?
6'3".
You're 6'3", and you ride a large low pro. And we have riders.
I ride, but
6'3".
Yeah, my position on the bike is probably more aggressive. I mean, the low pro is already aggressive, a little aggressive for people, and I think I'm comfortable being at that position because I'm filming, and not everyone will probably want to be as kind of laid over the bike like I am.
Well, and everyone's different.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
And there's definitely no question that some people need an extra large. So it's coming. It's hard to produce that many sizes.
Yeah,
but
totally.
It's always been,
because then you have to hold the stock
in the back of my head to do. For sure. But it will get there for sure.
Yeah. And then what's the price on the new Cocina frame fork?
Oh, good question.
You have that figured out yet, or?
I think it's a little bit more expensive, $900 or $950.
Got it.
The tapered fork is a little more expensive, and then now the Cocina also comes with a headset. So we're it's a little more, but we're given a little more also. And that was, in a way, that was part of like negotiating with my distributor. We had to up the price, and so I wanted to be sure to like maybe toss in a little bit more. So you get a little more, it's a little more, but I think it still fits within that price point for that genre of frames.
Another question is, when did Affinity first start making bikes? The first bike frame, like when?
Well, we opened with the Low Pro, so that was
Oh, that was the first bike?
2007. Yeah.
Nice.
The first bike was the Low Pro, and that was 2007.
And then, oh, yeah. That's the first name as well. That was the next question. 2007.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. 13
Yeah.
years. So you,
13
wait,
years.
since
Crazy.
you opened the shop, basically? That's crazy.
Yeah, we opened the shop. Our first batch was 100 Low Pros.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time we were just rushing to get them in stock stateside for when we opened the business, and we didn't have time to put decals on them like from the factory. So we had these little die cuts, and it was like such a disaster because the original graphic was like super thin.
Yeah.
And so that was always sort of an issue. It was a beautiful graphic, but it was really hard to work with. And not super legible and whatnot. And I remember like,
oh, it was like
trying
thin.
to read,
It's like thin script.
Yeah. But yeah, we started right from the get-go. We opened the shop. The original Low Pros were, I think, $275 for the frame sets or $300 for the frame sets, and we were doing completes for like $550 or $600 in the beginning. They were like such a deal.
Yeah.
You're being too loud.
Sorry, dude.
What up, Jake?
Feels like you're being too loud.
Wow. Has the Low Pro geometry, other than the graphics, has the Low Pro changed over the years?
That's a good question. It hasn't, and some people like are like adamant about like telling me it has, and like it totally hasn't. The only thing that's changed was the first iteration was an oversight by me. The very first batch had 26 seat posts. I totally overlooked, and so the very second batch from the first year went 27 too. So that's the only change. Well, the fork changed over the years, and over the year, like a few batches here and there, we refined the fork rake and then the axle to crown.
Yeah.
So the fork did change a little bit over time, and then a few years ago, I decided to change the fork just to change it up a little bit. Yeah. So, but no, the frame set itself has always been the same.
My only wish on the wish list of the Affinity is I wish that it was 1.1 inch.
Yeah,
that would ruin the like classicness of it, I guess. But it's just like I wish it was 1.1 inch because then I could run, my old wound up or something. Nothing against the Affinity fork. I just love the.
No, I don't disagree with you about it. And
it looks great.
I'm sort of like stuck in it at this point. And I love 1 inch, and I also think 1.1 inch. It's funny because I think the future version will be tapered. So it'll be kind of like the same frame but tapered with like a big old carb fork. Because I think that's where it's at. I think not for so I've got so many frames in the works right now. I'm not going to touch the Low Pro. But I'll say it, I guess. I think the Low Pro is going to go away for a little bit sometime soon, and then it'll come back with like just tapered and with a nice big fat fork, and that'll probably be the future of it. I think that's a good way for it to transition. The 1 inch is rad, and it also looks really streamlined and clean. Yeah. With the head tube being a little thinner, and then it having like a super sleek like. Yeah, it has like the new fork is like really. I wanted it to be like the old Pinarello track bikes. It's got that like classic pista fork.
Yeah.
And I was like crazy specific about the shape of the new fork, and that's why I think 1 inch also works with the aesthetic of the bike. I'm like all about form and function, and it's got to look a really particular way. And I think 1 inch also like totally checks that box.
Well, that's why it's your brand and not mine.
Yeah, right. You're
doing it your way.
Bike, so
you're doing it your way.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That other customer or for that other person who chimed in, like we were talking to, about your size, like you're going to make your size, like, and that, I guess that could be the first XL Affinity.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. There's a couple tall people in the chat, and they're like talking about how they're cursed a little bit sometimes with bike sizes, and I definitely know that feeling because normally bike sizes are usually the frame's a little more flexy, and then there's not as many options, and then the sizing's not perfect unless it's a custom build. Usually you got to run some wonky stem or saddle position, size up, size down to make it work, so
all things that we're chatting about, and you know that you'll help bring to life, man.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Let me see. People are asking. Well, there's someone saying, "Get Jake back in here." That was rude of him.
He's cool now. So
Francisco Borrero is up in here, and he's like a YouTube creator, and he's asking if affinities were made here. I think he's a messenger here. He also does YouTube videos. He says, "Are affinities made?" I know the answer to this, but are affinities made in Brooklyn?
They're not. We've made, like, the first Anthem was made in Brooklyn with Thomas at Horse Cycles, and those are rad. You know, they're made overseas. You know, we use like some of the best, most reliable, and kind of oldest at this point, like factories, like in the industry. The stainless frames, they're stainless steel specialists, and you know, they I used to joke that, like, you know, your weld is laid by like some 60-year-old lady that lays beads better than like any like custom fabricator can ever, you know, like she lays like a mean weld.
That's great.
You know, and it's true. They're like, the factories are immaculate and the product is like totally incredible. So, you know, they're made overseas.
Crusha in the chat, he wants to know
What's up, dude?
Any more Wu-Tang collabs with a winky face?
Yes. Yeah. I hope so. It's funny. I like, so that whole thing has been rad. And yeah, Crusha, that's a good question. We've got, I've got another project in the works with Raekwon. And you know, that, it's taken a while, but in the end will be like pretty rad. So I hope so. I'm like wrapping up, you know, the details of that project, and that'll be complete, and then parts and accessories and all kinds of like really fresh stuff. You know what's crazy is part of the original pitch was masks and neck gaiters. We're doing I'll leak this out. We're gonna do a protect your neck, like, neck gaiter. and then Corona happened, and like his manager was like, "Oh my God, if we had this stuff out, like I've been talking about doing this stuff," and then gloves also. So yeah, lots of cool stuff to come, and I'm stoked. I've known Raekwon for, I guess, a bunch of years now, and he's been super rad. And so we're trying to come together and like make affordable completes and kids bikes and maybe wheelie bikes, and you know, just a full range of products. So I hope so. That's as long as everything goes as planned, we'll have something out.
Lee McDaniel, what up, Lee? He's asking, Jason, what are your feelings towards the evolution or different direction Interbike has taken, and where things might be going with manufacturers' shows and how they market?
Yeah, man, that's a really good question, and it's, you know, it's funny because you and I just did like what I think is now the future of trade shows, or what would you even call it? I mean, it's a virtual virtual trade show, or you know, they're virtual releases. I think that, you know, especially given the climate of where we're at right now, I think that
you're being too loud.
Sorry, dude. I'm like, I gotta talk. There's people here. You gotta say hey.
Yo,
if you're gonna,
Jake. Jake's in the chat. Jake's here. Everyone in the chat, say hello to Jake.
There's good. Terry saying everyone say hello to Jake. So you gotta wave. Just wave. I'll try to be quieter, but you've been a good boy. No, you haven't been actually at all, dude.
I'll try to be quieter.
Okay. I know. He's like, you're being too loud. Sorry, guys. So Interbike was rad and fun, and I think it was fun and rad because it was in Vegas and people went like just mental, and it had its run, and Interbike involved. It had Cross Vegas, and you know, it was also a time that brought people together, which was rad.
They had the drag race, the MASH drag race every year.
The drag race was awesome, and you know, it's funny. Matt Reyes and I were talking about just having like.
You're mean.
I'm not mean. I didn't do anything to you. You gotta let me, dude. I'm on live. You gotta stop.
Because you said I wasn't a good boy.
Okay? I'm gonna say you're a good boy if you go away. You gotta go away, dude. I'm like live on the internet right now. You
He
hit
doesn't
me
care.
too,
He
bro.
doesn't care if you're
I'm
live.
sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
Jake,
Everybody.
there's 130 people looking at your head right now.
Terry just said there's 130 people looking at you right now.
No.
Tell
Yeah,
him, say hello to them. He
Yeah, and
left.
Terry's one of them. 131 people. So you gotta, yeah, we're live on the internet. I'll show you later.
Let me see.
No, you can't see it now. You're seeing it now. Look at it. I'm sorry, everybody.
It's totally
You
fine.
can't see
It's
it
great.
there. All right, bud. You gotta go, dude. I'm tickling. Did you eat your cookie, bud? Here, dude.
Cookie
Here.
time. Yo,
Cookie
we're gonna take a
time.
cookie break. If you need to take a break, I can switch to a BRB.
No, I'm fine.
all
He's
right.
been really. But yeah, I mean, so we did something called Reveal with
Yep.
Billy Sinkford and Echoes Communication. It was like an trade show, sort of. There were like 200 press contacts, and they did like 5-minute bits, and that was like epic. And the streaming was super cool. We did it at the shop, which was a great way for people and press to see where we work. And we launched the bike virtually, and that worked really, really well. And so that's going to be a thing in the future. And even like what we're doing right now, like I could come on and like launch something to our core audience, like, and that is a brilliant way of doing things. And so you and I have been talking about this also, like this thing has basically pushed the world into the future. And, it was going that way. We were even talking about 5G. And the way things, I mean, hell, I'll launch a bike soon on the damn road. Like here, I'm on the new whatever, and you could launch something like in the middle of the damn desert or whatever, And so I think things are fully going digital. At the same time, I was alluding to this before. Matt Reyes and I were like on chat a while back, like talking about like, let's just get everyone together and do something rad. And I think that that's also going to be something that's going to hold like the thread and the culture together. You and I are talking about going on a tour and like whatever, we could go out west and like, and Sean Martin and I were talking about this. That's what I think. Maybe it was Sean and I were talking about this actually. I think Matt and I were talking about this too, but I think no, Sean Martin and I were talking about this where we were like, let's just do something rad. And we were talking about maybe doing it on the back end of like the Wolfpack stuff.
Yeah.
To where we could do like something rad. And in a way, like the crits have kind of brought that, like like a bit of a happening. So I think that the trade shows may come back, but I also believe that the culture and the way that things are going, like cyclocross races are becoming. Sea Otter evolved. It's a trade show, but it's also racing and happening. And like Grinduro is a thing, but then it's all going to be sort of tied in digitally.
Yeah. It's
cool.
going to be there soon. 5G.
It's pretty
careful.
And it's I mean, but for now it's like this, and it's people getting together, and everyone's just more plugged in and whatnot. So these are like the early sort of stages of it.
Yeah. Hopefully.
And Terry, you're leading the way, man.
I'm trying to.
You're not trying. You're doing.
I'm trying to bring this streaming thing to at least the cycling scene, at least the small network of people who are watching me talk and bring guests on for an hour or two rambling on about nonsense.
Totally.
So what else do you got going on? You got any rides planned? Like what are your rides? I know that you're riding that Affinity the stainless steel. So where are you, that's pretty much the show bike, but that's your bike. Like you've been riding it a lot, right?
Yeah, it's funny too. Like now that you say it, I'll touch bases on that. But I was going to say before we were talking about the extra large. Like that's my bike, and and some people know this. I've said it before, but all medium Affinities are basically like my bike, so to speak. Like I use the medium to base all of the other sizes. It's what I ride, and whenever customers hit me up, I'm sort of like, well, how tall are you? You want a medium? I'm like, just for reference, I'm 5'11". I ride the medium. It's designed for me. And so that gives a great reference for that. And yeah, I mean, that's my bike. That's my daily. And, the bike behind you is going to be my bike. And yeah, for now. So since I'm up in upstate, I'm ripping roads. I'm doing, actually stuff that's like kind of out of my element a bit. Rolling a lot of, I've got a core or a route that's like perfectly rolling, and 30-40 miles of just like countryside. It's kind of awesome. Like I feel bad saying it for all of my like New Yorkers or everyone that's really in kind of quarantine, but you know, like in Brooklyn we're stuck. We're totally stuck. I know you're like living it up in Prospect Park and hitting the dirt and everything, but you know, with the kid, honestly,
there's no one there.
For me, I know
no one in the trails. Well, there's random walkers now. I think it's blowing up a little bit. It's been kind of blowing up a little more as people are locked inside. There's like stragglers coming out, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that this was here." And they're like standing on the trails, and you're like, "Excuse me, I'm trying to give you 6 feet," but you're like standing in the middle with your phone out, and you're not paying any attention with your headphones on. Like, that's dangerous. Please.
And people also want to get out, and I get
no,
that.
I know. That's why I give
like
them a little bit of. I'm like, take your time. Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, like and I read this morning too that they're restricting the amount of people that are going to be going in parks.
Oh no.
So that's like I read it this morning that they're like de Blasio is going to have to like restrict it because people want to get out, you know. And I mean, I get it, but
then they should open the streets. They should close the streets down to cars.
They did.
Where?
I mean, they are.
Where? I haven't seen one yet.
I don't know. They've been like 200.
Broadway. I saw yesterday.
Are you going in the city much?
Just a little bit. I went yesterday and rode around. Broadway has road closures, but they're still letting cars go in and park and come out. And I was like riding.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah, it was weird. There was like cars parked all over Broadway.
What about on the weekends?
I almost got hit twice.
Are they fully
indoors
closed on the weekends?
Huh?
Yeah, that's lame. Are they fully closed on the weekends though?
I don't know. I mean, weekends don't matter anymore.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's that's crazy.
We're in the densest city in the country.
Like, what month is it? It's May, right? Yeah. I was like, yeah, no. So next, I was like June. So I was like, we're doing this in June, and I was like, I really had to think like where we were like in time because it's crazy.
They should shut down major streets.
The rest of my time, I'm sitting on the rollers or on the trainer mostly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, getting out on rides. Oh, and I brought the mountain bike.
Yeah.
So I've been like, I guess I'll say it. Yeah, I do PR for Thompson. If you check out the Thompson feed at Bike Thompson, I also do PR for Thompson. And, I love that company and they're super rad. And they've got an epic mountain bike that I've been riding. They sent me a mountain bike that is just really nice. And Terry's been bugging me. And so I brought up the mountain bike.
What up? Let's fucking ride some trails, dude.
I've been ripping single track too. I do at least like 2 or 3 days a week on the mountain bike. I'll say 2. It's like 2 days.
Yeah.
And I've been doing single track and like totally loving that. And upstate's got like I'm in New York and in Connecticut's got some really crazy single track.
I want to take you to Graham Hills one of these days when we can do it responsibly.
I'm down. And we now have the stainless. So we just got this the you've been teasing it. We got the stainless through axle disc all road bike that I'll have built in the next you and I are going to build them up and Coop's going to build them up. We've got in the next few weeks. So I'll be like ripping on that bike too.
Oh yeah, we got to get that going soon.
Gravel.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Well, man, I want to go to Graham Hills with you. We're going to Graham. I want to show you the probably the funnest trails in New York that's close to the city. They're my favorites.
I don't even know where that is. So is that the one that goes up? Was Cooper talking about that? It's the one that goes
Cooper
up.
Cooper doesn't. I don't think Cooper likes it very much. It's kind of a loop, so you don't want to ride there. You want to actually get there and then do your ride. And you can end up doing 3,000 feet of climbing if you do it right, and you don't leave like a 15-mile area, and you're just like there's like descending. You'd want to do it on your mountain bike. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Take you out on the mountain bike.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Leave your spandex at home. You can wear a bib or something. We're going to just go out. We'll bring some extra water and some beverages, maybe a beer, 10, and then some snacks. Be there,
let's do it.
A 4 to 6 hour day just out on the bike, and you'll be wrecked. You'll wake up the next day like, what happened?
Let's do it, man.
For sure. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Of course.
It's kind of like your right over here. Jason's desk is
I
usually
know.
right over here somewhere.
It totally makes me feel at home.
But yeah, let's connect when we can with our masks on and all that. And
I'll be back. Yeah,
everybody.
I'm back. I think next week sometime.
Yep.
Back in the city next week, I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you, man. I mean, I'm always like so stoked about like what you're doing, and I mean, like you're rad, but I mean, like really, what you're doing is awesome, and more than that, it's like the community that you've like that you care about. It's not just about you being a cool person. Like you're like you travel around the world and you bring people together, and you're doing like rad things. And this is like I've been watching like all of these, and like it's cool to start your morning off this way, and you know I'm like stoked to be a part of it. So
yeah, thank you, man. Giving everyone a little bit of a little routine for the Monday through Friday. It's
super cool.
It's so disrupted. Cool, Jason. I'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone for watching.
See you, dude.
All right, peace, man.
Later.
Yeah.
That didn't quite work. All right, my graphics are messed up, everybody. I'm sorry. That was Jason. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm not leaving yet. I have a couple things that I do want to say, but I will be right back. So give me about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll come right back on. So I'll see you guys in a short one. I will be right back. Right back. Yes, that's right. It's a pee break. All right. Well, we back. We are back. Yo, so that was Jason Gallacher of Affinity Cycles. Just wanted to properly wrap this up and let you guys know the schedule for next week. So those of you who are still here, the morning routines are being pushed to 11 a.m. We're starting them at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, unless the guest needs a different time. So we are going to be doing that at 11. And then what else do I have to say? The guests. Tuesday we have Lucas Brunel. Lucas Brunel is here on Tuesday. So I know a lot of you guys know Lucas. Shout out in the chat if you guys are stoked to see Lucas in here. Someone actually asked about Lucas being in here, and they asked as I was about to announce it yesterday, so that was cool. And then we have Sean, who is the owner of King Cog in Brooklyn, also Sun and Air, and that's on Thursday at 11. So Lucas is gonna, we're gonna catch up with Lucas and talk about how he's been, his developments in YouTube and what he's been up to during all this, and just kind of catch up. And then Sean on Thursday, he's gonna be taking the stream from his from the shop, either King Cog or Sun and Air, I'm not sure. So we're gonna have a little bit of hopefully like a behind the scenes of the bike shop. And bike shops, if you guys don't know, in New York City, they're essential business. So kind of what it's like to be, an essential business. So and what that looks like and how it looks. So that'll be cool. And then the other thing I want to plug is other experiments that I'm doing. So yesterday I tried to do a live stream of me riding around New York, Manhattan, while I was filming a little bit, and I tried to live stream from my phone. And I'm experimenting. I'm trying to figure it out and really dial it in. So with that, I don't want to clog up YouTube with these experimental streams. So I started a Twitch. I just dropped the link to the Twitch in the live chat. So the Twitch, just so you guys know, I'm not going to be doing the morning routines on Twitch or anything. Like, YouTube is where this is all where this happens. But Twitch is going to be a place for me to stream my bike rides and my experiments. So if you're interested or into seeing how I develop that, doing they called IRL streams, I'm going to be streaming from my phone right now. But I'm also going to try to experiment with the GoPro and just figuring out how to do it and give you guys. Hopefully I'm going to try to do it a few times a week, and the idea is to start small and just dial it in. So if you want to join me for the ride, like I said, just go ahead and follow me there on Twitch for that. Twitch is a whole totally different thing than YouTube, I understand, and I'm still trying to figure it all out, so bear with me. After that, let's see what else. Oh, Philip, thank you, dude. Mr. Brunel is in the building, yes. Yeah, the robot does talk. Did you hear it? It should say, "Oh shit, Mr. Brunel in the building." I'm not sure if you guys heard that or not, but that's what it should do anyways. Zach Morrison's asking when Cooper Ray is on. Cooper was supposed to be on last Wednesday. I don't know what happened. Oh yeah, Anna took his spot, and me and Cooper have to reschedule. I'm imagining it's going to be the following week. I'm going to try to stick these chats with other people to two times a week, which I feel like 2 times a week is almost a lot. But yeah, so trying to keep a schedule there, maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll see. But I don't want to be too tight on the schedule because I want to make sure it's a good time for the guests. So we got Affinity in the chat. Thank you again for stopping by. That was cool. What else do I got to wrap with? I think that's it. We've been on for a minute. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them right now. If not, I'm going to get out of here. Very soon. What's up, Peter? Oh, Richard Beyond the Scale. How you doing, man? You can always go back and watch everything. It's all good. We talked to Affinity Cycles about some stuff, his new bike and kind of the company, so you can go back and check it out. Anyways, that's it. So I'm gonna get out of here. Peace out, and I'll see you guys on, what's today, Friday? Yeah, I'll see you guys on the live premiere of Sunday's video. And if you can't make it to that, I'll see you on Monday at 11. So have a good week, and let me get this little thing here. Here it is. Have a good week, and I'll see you on the next upload. Peace.